Hello everyone. Today I'm going to discuss about solution for placement activities questions. So this is the first question, class Sukshmas 1, that is extended from the thread class, and we have one more class called public class Sukshmas, and execution of the program begin from the main method. And here I have created the object for the class called Sukshmas 1. And after that I'm calling, this is the reference, yes dot, I'm calling the start method, and these are all the options. The first option is compile time error, second option is runtime error, and the third option is no output, and the fourth option is main method will be displayed on the screen. Sorry, main thread will be displayed on the screen. Now if you are trying to run this code, so what exactly the output? The third option is the right, no output will be displayed on the screen. So no output will be displayed on the screen. So what exactly the reason now? Some of the point you have to remember. First, here we are calling the created the object for the class. This class extend from the thread class. With the help of the reference, I am calling the start. And definitely when you calling the start, a run method will be executed. And here we are not yet created the run method here. So first of all, run method belongs to the thread class. And here run method has a empty implementation in the thread class. 2 point you have to remember. First one is run method belongs to the thread class. The second point is run method has a empty implementation in the thread class. If you are not providing the overriding operation over here in the user defined class called Sukshmas1, so if you are not performing the overriding the run method, so definitely we won't get the any output. So to overcome this difficulty, you have to provide the implementation for the run method. Now if you are trying to run this code, so you will get an output of Java. Suppose if you comment this one, again if you are trying to run this code, so you never get the output. So 2 point you have to remember, this is the run method. Run method is belongs to the thread class, and if you are not providing the overridden operation in the run method which is present in the Sukshmas1, so you never get an output. And run method has a empty implementation in the thread class, so that we have to override the run method in the user defined class called Sukshmas1, so that when you call the start method, it will execute the or invoke the run method, so that you will get an output of the Java. This is the second code, class Sukshmas1, that is extended from the thread, and here we have a run method, public void run. Here I'm trying to print the Java, and public void run receives the integer type of parameter. Here I'm trying to display string, and here we have one more class called public class Sukshmas, and execution of the program begin from the main method. Here I have created the object for the user defined class called Sukshmas1. This class extends from the thread class. Then using this reference, I'm calling the start, and also using the reference, I'm calling the start, and also I'm passing the 10 as an argument for the method called start. And these are all the some of the options. The first one is Java will be printed, second one is Spring will be printed, and the third one is Java and Spring will be displayed on the screen, and the fourth one is you will get the compile time error. So what is exactly the answer for this? So you will get the compile time error. So here some of the point you have to remember is you can perform the overloading of the run method. It is possible. I will repeat once again, overloading of the run method is possible. And here, and thread class having the start method, which is of the zero argument. Thread class having the start method of the zero argument. Suppose when you comment this one, when you call the start method, it will go for the run method. See, if I'm trying to execute, when you call the start, it will go for the run method. And here I'm calling the start method with the argument. Okay, so here see, it's requires no argument, but I'm passing the 10 over here. That is the reason you are getting the compile time error. And next possibility is I can call the explicitly, I can call the run method. It works like a just as a normal method call. So how you can call explicitly? So here start, I can call run, then I will send the value. I can call the run method explicitly. In this case, it will work as a normal method. So here we will get the note of Java as well as the Spring. When you are trying to call like this, you will get the compile time error. This is the third question. This question is also belongs to Java and class Sukshmas1, that is section from the thread class. And here we have two methods, public void start as well as the public void run. And here we have one more class called public class Sukshmas, and execution of the program begin from the main method. Here I have created the object for the class called Sukshmas1. With the help of the reference, I'm calling the start. And here these are some of the possible options. Java, the first option is Java, the second option is Spring, and the third option is compile time error, and the fourth option is runtime error. When you are trying to run this code, so this is what an output you will get it. Java will be displayed on the screen. Now, how exactly it is working, and here we are performing the overriding operation for the start method. Start method is basically belongs to the thread class, and here we are performing the overriding of the start method. And here in this case, start method executed like a normal method. And also one more point you have to remember is, and no new thread will be created. So that is the reason start method work as your normal method. Suppose if I comment the start method, now if you call the start, then it will executes the run method, then it will display the string. Suppose if I have a start method is belongs to the thread class, and here we are performing the overridden operation of the start method. So now if I call the start like this, it will be executed. It will be executed like a normal method. And one more point you have to remember is no new thread will be created. So that is the reason it will directly call a start, and it will give the output as Java. And this the question which belongs to the C programming. And here, if the value of k is equal to 0, I'm just telling the hint now, the value of the k is 0. And execution of the program begin from the main. Here, k is a variable belongs to the integer type, and while. And while inside, we are using the scanf, mean to say that we have to give an input through the keyboard, and equals to 10 and separated by the comma, and then 11. This is the first expression separated by the comma. This is the second expression. And also I'm asking whether the compilation fails at the line 5 or not. And after that, if it is success, C program will be displayed, or else it will go for the end of the program. And these are all the following options. First one is C program, the second one is syntax error, and the third option is end of program, and the fourth option is compilation fails at line 5. If you are trying to run this code, so now first point you have to remember is, this is the first expression. This is the first expression. First I have to give an input through the keyboard. Suppose my k value is 0, 0 entered through the keyboard, that will accept and stored in a variable. This is the first expression, 0 equal to 10 false, and it will check for the second expression. In the second expression, this is treated as a true. Then if I enter, C program will be displayed. Again, it will coming back to the while loop. Again, I have to enter the values. So this time if I enter 12 also, it is a false, it will go for the second expression. It's keep on asking the input through the keyboard. Just observe, it's keep on asking the inputs to the keyboard. So my question is here, if the value of k is equal to 0, then what exactly the output? So output will be the first option, C program will be displayed on the screen. Suppose instead of this, if I entered 0 here, if I'm trying to run, suppose if I enter 10 only, 10 equal to 10, that is a true. Then because of the 0 which is present in the second expression, so now the condition becomes false over here. So it never print the C program, then it will print the end of the program.
Let's look into the solution of 4 DBMS questions which has appeared in previous placement activity. Here is the first question from the below table called as home loan as given below. Like here is the table, and here are the fields like borrower, bank manager, loan amount, etc. And with respect to that, some data has been inserted. Here the question is, when you select the count star from the table, select borrower and bank manager, and you are storing it as a temporary variable called S, and the other one, bank manager and the loan amount, you are storing in a temporary variable T with the table temporary table T, and you are natural joining the two tables. What will be the output? Let's execute and see it. And here are the options 8, 5, 4 and 6. I have mentioned it as 8. Let's execute and see it. Here, the table which I've used, use database name as activity. I'm using the database. And next one, I'm just fetching the informations which has present in table. I'll just run it and show it. These are the fields which I've showed in your question already, and the same fields I've inserted here. And here is the query. What will be the output of this? Is the question. Yeah, as I said, here we'll get it as 8. Let's look in detail with the explanation. Yeah, when you store the content of a temporary table years, we'll store it as borrower and bank manager first, as we have fetched like that information with respect to it, like select borrower and bank manager, and we are storing it as years. On next, the same thing, content we are storing in a temporary table T, which is called as bank manager and a loan manager. Here are the informations, and we are natural joining this. Like following will be the result of natural join, like of the above two tables. The key thing is to note is like natural join happens when column name like with the same name, okay, with a column name with the same name, and whenever the same name of, like here we have considered as a bank manager and a bank manager, these are the same names, and whatever the multiple records are there, it will create double of it. Here the records repeated is like Divya has repeated twice, Vivek has repeated twice, totally 4. So the output should be twice of it, so 8 should be the record. Okay, here is the after table is natural joint. Here is the output. It will be like borrower with a bank manager and loan amount. Whatever the possible conditions were there, those were mixed up with the borrower names. Okay, Rashmi Divya with 10,000. Again the Rashmi Divya with the 70,000, and follow it by like Vindhya and Karthik. Whatever the information is given in the table, and whichever the table name has been matched, like bank. Column name of bank manager and temporary table column name of bank manager as match, the multiple records of that will be created with the possible conditions. So total records will be 8 as I've shown you. Okay, these are the records. Let's look into the next question. Which of the following is a legal expression in SQL? And here are select null from car and select star from car when price is null, select ash from car and select name from car. Here are the options 1, 2, 3 and 4, and like here the output is option 4, select name from car. Like when you are taking a data, you cannot fetch the data null from car. Okay, that is it is not a legal expression which you use in SQL. On second, select star from car when price is null. This is like a condition should be applied, like select star from car name, and condition should be, it should be in an inner loop, not here. Okay, this is why it fails. It is not a legal expression. And as select ash from car, it doesn't make any sense. This is not a proper one. And select name from car, like whatever the name you have to fetch it from the table car, you can take it. This is only the legal expression which is present here. Okay, let's look into the next question. Which of the following is a DDL command? Here are the, to make it so simple, I have considered a diagram here with respect to all the statements present here. And options here are select, delete, update, and truncate. Data manipulation language, that does like that meant by DML, and data defined language, data control language, transaction control language. Here under DML we have select, insert, update, delete, merge, call, lock table, and under DTL we have these many: create, alter, drop, truncate, comment, rename. And under DCL, grant and revoke. Under TCL, commit, save point, roll back, and set transaction. Here, as I said, which of the following is DDL command? You can observe only truncate is a DDL command. Truncate, when you want to delete any records in the table, you can use it. You can drop, you can use the truncate command and do that. Okay. This is the questions of DBMS.
Now we can see the Python question solutions, which is appear in the previous placement activity. The first question is, here the first question. Here I'm creating a first last object. First last is an object name. So this is having a value list. So that's why we call it as a list object. So it is having a list of value. That list, inside the list, it is having a tuple values. So globally we can call it as this is a list of value. That values is tuple values. So this is a list type of object. Next, one more object I'm creating. It is called as a result. What result is defined means whatever the values written from this expression, that will just store. And again, finally, I'm just printing. Now we can see what this expression is doing. This is expression inbuilt. I'm just taking the one inbuilt function, that is a sum. Sum is a function is doing addition of the values. Whatever the values present in between this function is just adding that values and return the value. So what is there in between the function is I'm taking each value from the first last object. Each value means this is a one set of value, and this is a one set of value, and this is a one more set of value. So first I'm taking a first value. It means 0, 2. This whole set we call it as a first value. After that, in that first list or a first value, I'm taking a last value only. That underscores is indicate a pick. Pick only the last value present in this value. Here I'm taking a first value from here. This is just a for loop kind. So means I'm going to visit each value from this. So first starting, I'm just visiting a first value. This whole thing is call it as a first value. It is picking first value. Then after that, in that particular value, I'm just picking only the last value. Underscore means it's just I'm telling pick only the last value. So this is a last value I am picking. So it is picking 2. Again, this process is continued till the last value. So again, I'm going to pick this one, this value, and in this value, I'm picking only the last value. And same for this also. So finally, I'm picking a last value of the each picking n value. So which are that last values? 2, 4, 6. 2, 4, 6 is returning from this expression, only this expression. So what the sum is doing, just adding 2, 4, 6. That is a 12. That 12 value written and stores to the result. So finally I'm printing result. So that's why the option D, result 12 is storing in that result. That will print. So option D is the right answer. Okay, we can check once again whether this is working fine or not. I'll show you. I'm just here. I'm using online compiler. You can take a Python application to run this also. Here I'm taking an online compiler. It is also be fine. As we can see here, the 12 is printing. So we can go for the next question. Next, one more question is there. Here, I'm defining one function that is called as a test. Test having a 3 variables, x, b, and z. This is expecting a 3 parameters. Okay, then I'm printing the x, b, and z. It is printing that particular values. So next I'm declaring one dictionary that is having a value. X is a key, b, me is a value, b is a key, phi is a value, z is a key, and 5.0 is a value. Okay, and you're calling the test function by specifying a star dict. So you can see in the special thing here is I'm just unpacking the values. Unpacking the value means I'm just passing here key values to this parameter. This is an unpacking format in a Python. What we call it as, this is an unpacking format. So first only the star is just taking a key values on, it is pick only the key values from this dictionary and passing that value to this particular test function, and that particular key value stored to these 3 variables or as these 3 parameters. What are the key values is there here? X, b, and Z. These are the key values. It only pick the key values and pass to this to a particular test function, and these three parameters or else arguments store that values and just here printing. So what the first thing is printing? Here X, BR and Z itself is a printing. Why? Because this X stored as a key, X only, this BR stored as a key, BR only, the Z as a store key, Z only. So this will be printing. So simply I wanted to confuse you guys. So I'm just taking a variable name itself a key value. So I want to confuse you guys. So for that I'm just taking a key value, key value name itself I'm taking is a parameter. So that's me. You can get confused here. So here next I'm unpacking the only the value of this particular key. So here I'm unpacking only value. Only value means me, 5, 5.0. These three values only passing to this particular test. So me going to store to X, 5 going to store to B, and 5.0 going to be stored to Z. Then I'm printing the values of X, BR and Z. What the X is stored? Me. BR is stored 5. Z is stored 5.0. So how it is printing? First it is printing the key values, then it printing the values only. So option B is the right answer. In option A only printing key values. In option C only printing values only. In option D it prints a shuffling things and it is a printing something Z. It is a non-formatic. So it print only first it is prints the key values and next it prints the values of that keys. So option B is the right answer. We can check these also with running online compiler. Okay, I'll run this program. You can see it. What we call it this concept as it's an unpacking concept. It means if I mention a star to this dictionary, it is pass only the key values. If I mention a double star to that particular dictionary, it passes only the value of that dictionaries. So you can see, observe here, first it is displaying all keys and next displaying all values. This is a simple one. Okay, we can move to the next. So next here I'm taking a one list, that is a test list, and next I'm doing a for operation. So in this enumerate list, I'm taking this list. I'm just picking each value from this test list. So first I'm picking a 30, but it takes an index of this. That is index is 0 and 1 and 2. It is accessing first 0th index of the list. 0th index is I. So I is indicates a index value. It indicates a index of this value. Means if I take a index of I as a 0, it takes a values as a 0th index of the list, that is 30. So value indicates the index of that particular value and it is indicates the value of that list. So here I'm doing a operation before that printing. First I'm printing the index, then I'm doing some operation. So what is the operation means? This is all the expression is based on a priority only. So priority means you know that which operating having the highest priority. In this list, that brackets having the highest priority. So I means what here? First 0. 0 minus 1 means minus 1. It is like evaluate to minus 1. Then which is the operation having highest priority? Plus 2 and into like a multiplication having highest priority. So this will do first operation. What is the I value having? 0. 0 multiply with any value, it is 0 only. So 0 plus minus 1, it is a minus 1. So this will print minus 1. Here also we can see this will print. This is also right, but this is a wrong option. Why? Because first we are displaying the index, then minus 1. This is not matches, so this excludes. So next it is picking a first index 1. So value of the first index is 10. So here I'm just displaying a 1. So you can see here there is no anything is there, but even this is also wrong. First, because we are printing a 1. So here you can check I'm printing a 1. What is the value? Again we can check 1 minus 1 is 0. So 1 into the value 10. 1 into 10, 10. So 10 plus 0, 10 only. So you can see here this is the right thing. So again I'm picking a next index, that is a 2. 2th index value is a 5. So first I'm displaying the index, that is 2. Then I'm doing operation. 2 minus 1 is 1. So 2 into 5 is 10. 10 plus 1 is 11. So 11. You can see, observe here, this value is right. So option E is right. So we can check whether this is perfect or wrong. Not. Now I'm just running this. You can check here. First displaying index values of that values. Then I'm doing a value with some operation. So what the operation is written, that will display. First it displaying -1, 10, 11. This is all about the activity present in a Sunday. Okay guys, thanks. Keep on attending the Sunday placement activity and be strong by yourself in a coding, in a aptitude also. And thank you.